if you're looking for the video that's going to shit on it for existing, this ain't it. Welcome, the Warchief of Light is back with another epic video. Hi, my name is Peebs, but you lovely people are more than welcome to call me Peebs. This video is going to be interesting. Today, we're going to talk about Pandaemonium's story up to 6.2, so tons of spoilers, you've been warned. However, it doesn't quite hit well. I don't like it. It's sitting weird with me. Small disclaimer, this video is very much my opinion, and if this story resonates with you, fantastic. Listen, that's what we want. We want stories to resonate with you. Not all stories will. This one is really one of the first ones that I'm like, you know what? Not a fan of the beats here. So, keep that with a grain of salt. Also, listen, if you've been on my channel before, you know that 9 times out of 10, I try to take this positive side of it. And when I do have a criticism, it's never like, oh my god, it's the worst ever. Ah! It's not. Listen, we're just going to go through it. We're talking about the positives, the negatives, or at least what I feel is a negative, and have a discussion. So, if you're looking for the video that's going to shit on it for existing, this ain't it. Pandaemonium as a raid, as an actual piece of content that's playable, is something else. It is fun. The bosses are great. The mechanics are pretty good, except for what the fuck is going on with P6. I still need to figure that out. That's on me though. That ain't the raid. The aesthetic. I live for a gothic, mean, listen, Void Ark is my favorite one because the look of it is extreme. And the whole Void of 6.2, we're not getting there, but you know. And the music, what the fuss. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but Jesus, she's good. But the story is disjointed. It really sits weird. 6.1 starts with us meeting an Ascian named Eric. That's his name now, too bad, can't pronounce the other one. I'm sorry. He's in a rough spot. Shit's going down at Pandaemonium. Monsters are coming out. It's really not a great time. His dad runs the joint, this La Brea guy. If you remember, listen, I didn't like him in ARR. I thought he was douchebag of the century, and not wrong. Turns out he is. Eric hates the shit out of him, loves his mom. Mom's best thing since sliced bread, but she died. It's quite sad. Eric's now left to deal with whatever the fuck's going on in Pandaemonium, and he's about to take it on. At the end, Eric is cleaning up shop and realizes that his mentor that he really liked turned out that he's been corrupted and he's now kicking ass and stuff and hot as hell. And he escapes. And that's where we're left in 6.1. 6.2 though is where you lose me. Let me see if I got this straight. Poor Eric. Dad's a douche. Turns out mom is a bigger douchebag who's power hungry. I want to say tyrant, but they just say power hungry. They don't actually say what the fuck she's after other than power. Cool. But dad's still a douche. Dad lies to his kid about his mom being a tyrant, crazy person. So then the dad clones himself by taking part of his soul out. The bad part. But he's still a douche. Either way, took the bad part out. We fight that as our last boss. We trap it in a crystal, and then we're like, hey, listen. La Brea promises to destroy it, which, he's a douche. Do you really? Whatever. All that, and Elidibus is super intelligent, totally badass, and Pandaemonium comes to fucking Fulshano's doorstep, which, that was pretty cool. Did I get the gist of that? Because that's a lot. Now, I can handle a lot of odd shifts. Listen, we're talking about soul splitting. We're talking about tyrancy. We're talking about a family dynamic. Remember Shadowbringers? Shadowbringers had us going to another world, finding out that our god is a primal, finding out that the Ascians were not wrong per se, finding out that these sin eaters and that the world is split into third, a lot of shit. The difference is Shadowbringers played it out. Shadowbringers was a slow burn. Shadowbringers introduced the new stuff, let you sit with it, and then moved on to the next new stuff that built on it. Pandaemonium is 4 quests. And shit, you are slapped in the face every one of those 4 quests. So I think the storytelling was a little rushed here. If that's the beats they were going for. To me, I feel it's a little convoluted for what it needs to be. But again, that's me. We could have honestly used like an extra quest or 2 in between. And imagine having Graha or Kryl with us. I know it's not possible, and I get why it's not possible. But think about just having the characters there somehow. They would have helped you as a player take in that information and piece it together a little bit better. Little stuff like that. Plus, can you imagine Graha's face turn when he finds out Mom was the bad all along? It'd be great. I think that'd be great. It's also sitting on the expansion of Endwalker. Remember, they gave us some weird fucking stuff that we accepted without issue. We started the expansion on a boat talking to a ghostly figure. We ended the expansion fighting fucking despair in outer space. We can handle the different, the odd, the out of the blue change if it's led up to right. Where I think Pandaemonium, that's where it's missed. I also want to add a little side tangent here, completely like this is Peebs talking for me. Shadowbringers 5.3, the big moment for me with Elidibus was realizing he was a child. That he was young. He was mostly innocent. That he didn't quite understand the sacrifice of Zodiark, and he didn't quite get the mission to its entirety. That struck a chord with me first bit. And then coming here and seeing not only is the man intelligent, and yes, I get that our definition of children are very different. A lot of people look at me and go, he's a young adult. That's still a child. That's a child. A young adult still can't consent. A young adult still can't vote. A young adult still can't make decisions. They're not stupid. They are learning in the world, and they are learning themselves. They're still kids. And then coming here, where Elidibus is only a child in size. He's extremely intelligent. He's extremely goal-oriented. He's also a white-robed Asian. He's an advisor. That's what that title means. He's kind of big. He's a big deal. So seeing him come back, where we see him in 5.3, is like, oh, wait, that's a big shift. And I mean, listen, chances are it's because he was reborn so many times, or maybe a lot of him was lost in Zodiark, so I get it. But it's a neat little contrast, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I expected him to be more juvenile, and I was wrong. But it does make me want to know a lot more about Elidibus. Just saying. And listen, Pandaemonium's not all bad. It's not. I'm aware that this is only 2/3 of the story, that we still got 1/3 to go, and it could be badass at the end. And listen, I'd be glad to change my mind. I love being wrong when I'm disliking something. Listen, I want it to succeed. But here's the stuff that I really, really like about 6.2 Pandaemonium, other than the bosses. Elidibus, say my name, bitch. Love that. That is an iconic moment. Pandaemonium's in our fucking world. Literally, right there. Full Shino, losing his goddamn mind. I love this shit. I didn't expect that. That caught me so off guard, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, not a clue. And of course, listen, your girl's a metalhead. I have no problem admitting that. Scream is a banger. A fucking ridiculously... If they would release that song 100%, no context, just radio, here you go, it would be a hit. The only thing I would change about it, and again, there's the metalhead in me, is I would kind of adjust the guitars to sound just a little bit more metal. But the voice, the actual lyrics, everything else, bang on, love it. Release it to the world. Let that be a chart topper. We need that. Also, if you guys do a metal remix of it, I want in. Let me know. I want to hear that. I will review. Yes, hook a girl up. Either way, those are my thoughts about Pandaemonium. And yes, I know, you may disagree, and I'd love to hear you disagree. Nicely, though. In the comments. In the meantime, have yourselves a legendary day. Thanks so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you guys again on the next one. Bye. And yes, listen, I wasn't going to leave this video without calling out La Breha and all his daddiness. Listen, his douchebaggery made the daddiness less daddy, but he's still cute.